New York City, a place where more than 8 million stories rise between steel towers, glowing lights, and restless energy. A city that has shaped the world's economy, culture, fashion, and dreams. But behind the bright screens of Times Square, behind Wall Street's power, behind the Statue of Liberty's promise, lies a story stretching nearly 500 years long, filled with ambition, conflict, reinvention, immigration, suffering, hope, and unstoppable transformation. Tonight, we explore the entire history of New York City, from untouched forests to global powerhouse. This is the story of how a small island became the center of the modern world. Long before skyscrapers pierced the clouds, Manhattan was a peaceful land of forests, rivers, and wildlife. The Lenape people lived here, skilled hunters, fishermen, and traders who called the island Mannahatta, meaning island of many hills. They navigated streams that now lie beneath city streets, fished where Wall Street's buildings now stand, and traveled paths that modern avenues follow. For thousands of years, life was simple and balanced with nature. They had no idea how much everything was about to change. The year is 1609. Henry Hudson sails into the harbor, searching for a new trade route. Instead, he finds a land rich with fur-bearing animals, perfect for trade. By 1624, the Dutch established New Amsterdam on Manhattan's southern tip. Small wooden houses, dirt paths, a population barely in the hundreds. And soon, a legend is born. According to stories, the Dutch bought Manhattan from the Lenape for goods worth about 60 Dutch guilders. It wasn't a sale the way we think of. Today, the Lenape likely believed they were sharing land, not surrendering it. Still, control of the island shifted forever. The Dutch build a thriving trading port. Ships arrive from everywhere. Farmers, merchants, and adventurers pour in. They construct a defensive wall at the northern edge of the town. That wall's location? Today we call it Wall Street. Diversity becomes New Amsterdam's identity. By the 1650s, 18, different languages are spoken, a trait the future New York City will be forever known for. But the Dutch era is short-lived. In 1664, English warships sail into the harbor. The Dutch surrender without a fight. New Amsterdam becomes New York, named after the Duke of York. Under British rule, the city expands quickly. Streets are improved, trade grows, and slavery sadly becomes widespread, with almost 20% of the population enslaved by the early 1700s. Protests begin rising. Whispers of independence grow louder. And soon, New York becomes a spark in a revolution. The 1760s and 1770s are filled with political tension. Taxes, protests, street fights. New York becomes a battleground of ideas. In 1776, George Washington attempts to defend the city, but the British Army overwhelms his forces. For the rest of the Revolution, New York is British headquarters. Finally, in 1783, the British withdraw. Washington returns triumphantly. Crowds cheer. Liberty is reborn. And for a brief period, New York becomes the first capital of the United States. On Wall Street, George Washington takes his oath as the first president. A new nation begins. This is the century that transforms New York forever. The Erie Canal, 1825. A massive engineering achievement connecting New York City to the Midwest. Trade explodes. Wealth pours in. New York becomes America's economic engine. Waves of immigration. Between 1820 and 1920, more than 30 million immigrants arrive in America, many through New York. Irish fleeing famine. Germans escaping instability. Italians searching for opportunity. Jewish families escaping persecution in Europe. By the late 1800s, the city becomes a mosaic of cultures. Little Italy. Chinatown. Jewish Lower East Side. New York becomes a world within a single city. Tenements and hardships. Crowded buildings. Poor sanitation. Dangerous working conditions. Life is tough, but dreams keep people going. Central Park. In 1858, construction begins on Central Park, the first landscape park in the US. A peaceful escape rises in the middle of chaos. The Gilded Age. Astors. Vanderbilts. Rockefellers, mansions, railroads, fortune. Skyscraper seeds are planted. New York is becoming the capital of opportunity and inequality. Steel changes everything. By the early 1900s, New York becomes obsessed with building upward. The Flatiron Building, the Woolworth Building, Cathedral of Commerce. Grand Central Terminal, a palace of transportation. Then come architectural legends. The Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, tallest building in the world for nearly 40 years. New York skyline becomes a symbol of human ambition. From 1892 to 1954, Ellis Island processes more than 12 million immigrants. Families carrying everything they own. Hopes of a better life. Last names changed. New identities created. The Statue of Liberty, gifted by France in 1886, becomes a beacon of hope. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. This era turns New York into one of the most multicultural places on earth. Jazz fills Harlem. Broadway electrifies the city. Wall Street booms. Skyscrapers reach new heights. Nightclubs, speakeasies, artists, writers. The city is alive like never before. But everything is about to collapse. The stock market crashes. Unemployment skyrockets. Breadlines form. Hope fades. But New York refuses to break. Huge public projects begin. Bridges, tunnels, parks, putting thousands back to work. The city survives. Factories roar to life. Women join the workforce. Immigrants enlist. New York becomes a hub of wartime production. After the war, the city explodes with energy. Subways expand. Airports grow. Skyscrapers multiply. Families move to suburbs, but New York remains the cultural capital. The United Nations chooses New York as its home. The city becomes the center of global diplomacy. 1950s, 1970s bring enormous cultural waves. Jazz in Harlem. Abstract art in Manhattan, hip-hop born in the Bronx civil rights movements. Cinema revolution. Literary giants like Baldwin and Kerouac. But the city also struggles. Financial crises, crime, blackouts, and social tension. In 1975, New York nearly goes bankrupt. Yet again, it rises. 1980s and 1990s bring transformation. Times Square cleaned up. Wall Street becomes global finance capital. Massive immigration revitalizes neighborhoods. Art, music, technology, fashion, all flourish. New York becomes the beating heart of globalization. From tragedy to triumph, the new century reshapes the city. The city faces challenges, economic, social, environmental, yet remains resilient. New Hudson Yards, new subway expansions, new One World Trade Center shining over the skyline. New York continues evolving, faster than ever. New York City is not just a place. It's an idea, a dream, a promise that anyone, from anywhere, can become something greater. From Lenape forests, to Dutch trading posts, to British colonies, to the American Revolution, to skyscrapers, to immigration waves, to global influence. New York City is a masterpiece written by millions of hands. And its story is still being written, today, tomorrow, forever.